This video is going to be on the neat topic of expanding brackets. Expanding brackets. First, a little story. I once read somewhere about a question where it was in the exam, expand, I think it was 5x plus 3, and they had to expand the brackets. And what the student wrote was, for the first stage, they wrote this, and for the second stage they wrote this, which I thought was quite funny because what they've literally done is expand the brackets horizontally. I wish it were as simple as that, but expanding brackets is more of a mathematical term than a physical one. So you might not get marks for expanding brackets physically, but let's have a go at getting marks by expanding brackets mathematically. To expand brackets mathematically, you multiply everything outside of the brackets by everything inside the brackets. Having a number or an expression next to a bracket is a shorthand for saying multiplied by what's in the bracket. So this is all going to be about multiplying. Multiply. And let's highlight that. All going to be about multiplying. Okay, let's have a go at multiplying then. We said everything, so let's do everything. 5 times by x. 5 times by x is, the way we write that, is 5x. And, don't forget, 5 times by 3. 5 times by 3 is 15. So if we expand this bracket, we get 5x plus 15. And they both mean the same thing. They're both equal to each other. One version has a bracket, the other version, the brackets have been expanded and disappeared, and now we have just 5x plus 15, but they actually equal the same thing. They're different expressions for the same terms. Let's try expanding a slightly harder set of brackets. How about 16x squared, and then in brackets 5x plus 4, or take away 4. 5x take away 4. Okay, same principle as before. We have to multiply everything outside the brackets by everything inside the brackets. So first step is going to be the 16x squared times by the 5x. Let's do the numbers first. I recommend you do the numbers first. 16 times by 5, a quick tip, do 10 times 5 and then 6 times 5. 10 times 5 is 50. 6 times 5 is 30. And 50 plus 30 is 80. So 16 times by 5 is 80. What's x squared times by x? X squared times by x. That would be x cubed. X with a little 3. X cubed just means x times by x times by x. Okay, that's the first step done. Now what about the minus 4? Again, if it helps, we can draw an arrow to show what we're multiplying. 16 times by minus 4. Well, let's focus on the 4 for a moment and we'll bring the minus in at the end. 16 times by 4, I would do 10 times by 4 and then 6 times by 4. 10 times by 4 is 40. 6 times by 4 is 24. And 40 plus 24 is 64. But don't forget it was a minus. So it would be minus 64. And the x squared is not multiplied by anything, so it's still just x squared. We've expanded the bracket and we have 80x cubed take away 64x squared. Let's do a final crazy example. How about, all of these are single brackets. My next video will be about multiple brackets, but for the moment we're just expanding single brackets. How about 4a cubed and a b and a c squared, and all of that multiplied by 3a cubed and b squared and minus 2abc. ABC. Let's fit it on. There we are. Okay, same technique. Let's multiply each thing outside the brackets by each thing inside the brackets. And we start with the numbers for this first group. 4 times by 3 is 12. a to the 3 times by a to the 3, this is an example of index rules, which I've done another video on, but would actually be, you just add the little numbers. So it would be a to the little power of 6. What about b times b squared? Well, b1 times b squared is b3. So we have b with a little 3 on top. Okay, c squared is just on its own, doesn't have any other c to multiply with, so he's still on his own, so it's c squared. Let's do the other side. 4 times by minus 2 would be minus 8. a cubed times by a, well, that's a cubed times by a1, so that'd be a4. A with a little 4. How about b times by b? What's b times by b? b times by b is b squared. Finally, c squared times by c cubed, c squared times by c is c cubed. In all of this, the principle has stayed the same. With expanding brackets, you multiply each term outside of the brackets by each term inside of the brackets.